We live in a new age, and it's time for us to upgrade our tinfoil hats. Operation Tinfoil is a freedom-focused small business and trusted sponsor of this show. Their super comfortable new line of beanies and baseball caps will not only crown your skull in style, but each of these dome defenders is lined with a silver mesh that blocks up to 99% of EMF radiation from cell phone towers, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and yes, even 5G. We don't know what EMF radiation does to the brain long term, but neither do they, so don't be their guinea pig and don't wait around to find out. Get your stylish tinfoil hat of the future today at gettinfoil.com. Use the promo code SYSTEM for $10 off your order. Again, that's gettinfoil.com. Use the promo code SYSTEM for $10 off your order. Today's show is sponsored by libertarian conspiratorial fantasy author Jack Casey. Whether you're looking for a 3-book fantasy sci-fi epic of love, death, and dystopian civil war like the Royal Green series, or just looking for a quick, dark, comedic, cultural commentary tale about a transsexual slayer of COVID regime vampires, like his latest book, WVW, Jack Casey Books will keep you adequately entertained and pondering the universe to your weird little heart's content. He's the Ayn Rand meets Stephanie Meyer meets somebody who actually writes entertaining books with his own unique little downer-esque flair. Find out more about Jack Casey Books at the aptly named jackcaseybooks.com. Once again, that is jackcaseybooks.com. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The System is Down. Today's show is also brought to you by WVW 2, which is a book by Jack Casey that is out right now. Just put it right there for later. We're going to talk about some things that might upset you today. The Queen is dead. Sorry, just need a minute. Go share it. Let's get weird.
All I ask is, if we have to give these bastards our lives, we give them hell before we do!
The tragedy of our day is the climate of fear in which we live.
Talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing.
I would ask the congressman to withdraw that comment and tell us that he really means that.
Half a stop before they do what I call activist
I don't know what I said. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
The Bible commands that certain people be put to death.
Thieves were possessing weapons of mass destruction. 9/11 attacks were carried out by Al Qaeda.
Handle the truth! I remember that with that smoke! We are still here!
We have to say yes to socialism.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the least comfortable show on the web. It's The System is Down, where we talk about all the uncomfortable things that trigger you, like conspiracies, politics, religion, and queens. Lots and lots of queens. Queens all around. Queens to spare, like a surplus of queen news today. We're going to get into all that and so much more very, very soon as we roast the news and let you know what's happening in the world by making fun of what's happening in the world. Because as the world burns, what better way to give it all due respect than to laugh in its face. Now, before we get into that, I have to remind you of a few things. First and foremost being, it hasn't been updated. I'm sorry. Next week, I don't remember who it was. Thank you for joining. We'll get you in there. The Downers Club. People like Justico Mitchell, Silas Lane, Jason Brunson, David, Dave vs. Goliath, something, Donald Villa, Danielle, Kimberly, Tom, Patrick, Catholic, Gigi, Zareth Anarchy, Cole, Shannon, Level Zero, Jack Casey. I think I saw Jack Casey in there. Tim Brown, Aaron Stute, David White, Mayrum, Justin Zelinsky, William Wells, and all sorts of other freaks and outcasts of the world. If you want to go get your name on that list and possibly have it read incorrectly, but more importantly, joining the community that is the Downers Club and getting more weird, more raw, more offensive, more weekly content, patreon.com/The System is Down. Sign up for the Downers Club today for as little as $1, and you will get the after party as it streams live, and $5 gets you everything that we've ever done, as far as I know. Everything that I've uploaded to my memory. It's all there. $5. That's it. One super chat. You're not allowed to do it here. YouTube's not a big fan when we poke at the queens and the other pedophiles and everything that's going on in the world. So, go join patreon.com/The System Is Down. We're going to be doing an entire after party today. I've got a whole big, top news article headline things. It's basically another main show, and it might even come out later as another main show because it's very important stuff that just doesn't, we got to draw the line somewhere. So, if you want that, if you want it now, and by now I mean later, patreon.com/The System Is Down. All right. Now, we are going to talk about these news things and all the queens and everything, but we have to bring on our favorite queen, the queen of the day. The man, the myth, the queen, Jack Casey. What's up, Jack Casey? Welcome back to the show.
Hey. It's good to be back.
You're taking on a more brooding demeanor now?
Yes.
Is it more mysterious so that you can sell your books better?
That's right. Yes.
Nice. Did you need something done with your camera? You were talking earlier about a camera issue while I was trying to post this shit.
No, we're good.
Okay.
We're good.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I've really just, just a lot of heaviness on my heart with the Queen stuff and everything that's, it's a
dark time.
It's a dark time. So we need dark lighting and, and red lighting.
Right. So I'm not sure if the red lighting is in honor of WVW2, your latest book, Jack Casey, from jackcaseybooks.com, or if it's in honor of Joe Biden's very unifying speech last week or the week before or whatever.
Yes.
Either way.
It's working out as both.
Very similar.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's also working out as, for the Queen as the red, like for a heat lamp.
Right.
Because, I've tried to explain to
I don't think she needs any more heat at the moment.
Us Americans. So, to identify with our British brethren, and their loss, I try to explain to them, look, you need to imagine how they must feel. It's like if you had a pet lizard that had been in your family for 96 years,
right,
and
they
then
live
you
a long
lost
time.
It's it's a very hard thing.
Those lizards, they do have a long life expectancy, and when you give them things like adrenochrome and stuff, I hear that it lasts a little bit longer, but 93 still seems a little young. We're getting ahead of ourselves. We're not talking about that yet. Let's talk about Jack Casey's new book that I'm going to read upside down like George W. Bush on 9/11. Jack Casey, tell me about this book. I have read 40% of it so far.
Oh, that's good. 40%, interesting percent.
That's how the whatever, the Kindle version, it doesn't say like what page you're on because it's not full pages. So it's like you're at 40%. I'm like, this doesn't make me feel as satisfied as a page number, but I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, I wrote the first one, just a few months ago, back in December. And I was taking in feedback from people, do you guys want more of this? Because I wrote it as something that could be a standalone little short blip. And so I started listening to feedback, and I started hearing, things like, please stop. This is very offensive. You're going to embarrass all of us. Please stop writing. You're making me become more gay the more I read, things like this. And I said, listen, Dr. Ron Paul, I understand that you're upset, but I feel like I need to make fun of the system.
Dr. Paul.
Yeah. And I gave another drink and we talked some more. And then later looking back, I gave it some thought and I realized that wasn't Ron Paul. That was a guy who looked like Ron Paul, and therefore I don't need to take any of his criticism seriously.
It's just some dude, and some Ron Paul looking motherfucker on the street.
Yeah, I think he just looked a lot like him. So I realized, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to write more. I'm going to double and triple down. And that's kind of how that happened.
So the people, like, were there people who read the initial, like, did you get negative feedback from the initial book?
No, at least none that I would care for.
Sure.
None that I would care about. No.
Right.
No, I think if anything, I mean, even at the start when I put it out there, I said, look, I'm gonna have fun with this. I will say though, actually, for those people who are offended or disturbed by what I write,
like me,
I do. For the people who are genuinely triggered, I will say I have a lot of sympathy for the comedically disabled. I do understand there's a correlation between one's sense of humor and their intelligence level, and we shouldn't punch down at people who don't know how to laugh. I think it's an opportunity for outreach.
I think we should.
Yeah.
I think we just beat the shit out of them. You are dumb. It's a joke. Get over yourself. All right.
Yes, that's what this book is doing. It's making fun of all the people who need to get over it and have a good laugh. And so, yes, it's meant to offend everyone, including our own. And I'm having fun with it. And I will keep going because so far.
So far?
Yes.
Go ahead. What?
So far, I've I haven't been told to stop by anyone.
All right, Jack.
I'm
going to tell you right now something that you might not want to hear. Stop. Oh, you're freezing. You're cutting out.
Listen. Here's the deal. You're 40% in. To call me when you're about 60% in.
Yes, I will be doing that.
Tell me at what point you disavow, and when I can put in the next one cover art by Dan Smotz, who would like to formally disavow the contents of this book.
The next cover art will be by some name of some guy you've never heard of. It's definitely not made up.
It's just me in paint, like doing a sad sketch with like. It's
just one of these covers with a 3 scribbled on it in paint.
Yeah.
So, if you are cutting out a little bit here and there, but it doesn't seem too bad.
Oops.
You're better than Matt Miller so far. He had a rough start.
Oh,
so hopefully it goes better than that.
I feel bad for him. He did great though. He
did. But we're not here to talk about him. We're here to talk about you, Jack. So the other day, when this book came out on Sunday, on September 11th, which I'm sure that was just a strange coincidence, I texted you literally from a bubble bath and said, I'm trying to read your book, and it's not letting me get past the first little sample. We don't need to get too deep into that. Let's talk more about the bath, actually. The bath was great.
So, yeah, how was it?
It was nice. It was relaxing, except for the book.
Yeah.
I mean, the book was really the only downside to it.
Yeah. Was it? Does like violence and tranny dick jokes like increase the bath's enjoyment, or does it kind of?
How
many feelings did you feel?
I'm not going to answer that question because.
How much?
It changed some things, okay? It made me feel ways.
Needed some more bubbles to cover up. Okay, yeah, no. Listen, this book will.
It might not change your life, but it'll change your bubble bath experience at least 15%. I assure you that.
Exactly. Yeah, just like 9/11. The people who were taking baths on 9/11 as it was happening.
Right.
That I'm sure that changed their bath experience too.
Very similar experiences, I gotta say.
Yeah. Yeah. They're both tragedies. My book release was a tragedy as well. My writing career, actually, people got to watch my writing career collapse in real time.
Yeah. I like to feel like I'm the nanothermite of your writing career.
Exactly. That's what I'm going for.
I'm just quietly behind the scenes bringing you down by pushing you to be more awful, I think. But
yes.
Yeah, how much do you want to divulge about the book? It is brand new, so I don't know how much you want to give away or get into the storyline. I mean, what do you want? What do you want to say about it?
It is. I guess I could do the quick recap for those who haven't started the first one, just the overall series pitch. But the whole premise is if we lived in a crazy world where monsters were running it,
hypothetically,
hypothetically, like if we had people who were possibly drinking our blood, and and that would never happen in real life. There wouldn't be people, convincing us through propaganda that mass murder is okay and that everything's fine and it's normal that
would be
you
crazy.
get your blood drinking. So, yeah. So it's werewolves, vampires, and witches. They rule the world. They're pushing potions on people, toxic potions. The werewolves are patrolling the streets, ripping people apart to enforce their laws. Vampires are, drinking our blood. It's a
nice family-friendly read, really.
Yeah,
it's nice casual.
Yeah, exactly.
Sunday afternoon read.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's just like fairy tales growing up. You teach your kids valuable lessons. So in this one, you get to read that, and then of course it also has. I
am joking, by the way. If anybody's too autistic to understand that I am joking, it is not to be read with your family. Read it alone and feel miserable about it.
For the love of the dead queen, please do not read this to your children.
Yes.
Please do not.
It might be school curriculum one day, honestly. Keep going.
Unless your kid's really, really base. Like, they have to be so much more based than... No, please don't.
The kid already smokes weed, then maybe it's fine.
Yeah. If your kid's...
That's up to you.
Yeah. I took all the rage of the last 2 years, or going on 3 of the let's say the potion regime, and I took all that rage and then the dark, fucked up humor with it, and I wanted to just rip apart the system and do political satire and make fun of everything and offend everyone and push back on all the people who are too squeamish to realize that we need to take it up a notch. We can't be ashamed of fighting for humanity.
Right.
It's okay to call people monsters. It's okay to
no, it's okay to call monsters monsters.
Yeah, right.
And they are.
Yeah, of course.
Some of them are people,
yes.
But they are monsters.
Yes. The outside does not always match the inside, and so for example, the outside skin may not match the reptilian skin. So it's quite literal. So no, we
don't judge a reptile by its skin suit. That's what we're trying to say.
Right. Exactly.
Or its crown. Either way.
My book. Actually, I hope people do judge this book by its cover, because the covers are fucking awesome, dude. You did great. They look fucking sexy as hell, and I hope people buy it and read it and go, "Fuck, I've been tricked. This is the most retarded thing I've ever read," and yet the covers are so cool. I'm just going to keep them on my shelf anyway.
Yeah. Nice design pieces.
Yeah.
Just little art pieces. You can put them in frames. You're never going to open it again once you close it anyway. So, and they're fairly thin. Yeah. Which is why I'm able to read 40%.
Yeah. I made them Smotz sized. I made them Dan sized.
I appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah.
And I will say,
if I wanted to write, go ahead.
I will say, the new one, even just having only read 40% of it, I will say that you have stepped it up. Like, I enjoyed the first one. It goes up a notch. For anybody who has already read the first one, or anybody who's getting into the first one, keep going. It's not as bad as the first one. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. The first one, it was
legitimately like a lot more captivating so far. So
yeah,
kudos.
Like the first one was already me breaking out of my box and being a little bolder and edgier.
Yeah.
Just kind of just the tip kind of thing.
Right.
And then
this one's like burning the box.
Yeah, and then once I kind of got more comfortable, and I took these last 8 or 9 months to kind of build the world out, build the characters, kind of like figure more of this out. You get a little braver, you decide to have a little more fun. So now it's the gloves are off, and it's it's a blast, man. And look, I know I'm doing it right, and there's a point at which I think any good artist, when you're writing for yourself and it's entertaining you, and you're like, there's got to be people out there that think this shit's funny like I do, or think this is cool like I do, and you just don't have to. I just have to be like, I can't worry about who's going to be triggered or offended. If anything, that's kind of the point.
Right.
And I'm just going to do what makes me laugh, because I sat there laughing my ass off, barely able to type some of the time. I'm writing stuff that if I read it from someone else, I'd just be pissing my pants. So that's what I was going for. And then too, I wrote shit that, there's some sad stuff too. There's some heartfelt,
no spoilers.
Yeah, look, it hopefully balances both the laughter and the tears, and other fluids that could come out. And so it's
Yeah, I mean, let's just say you wouldn't have wanted to use my bathwater after I used it.
Yeah, so no, I'm really excited to see what people think. And if there's more coming.
They hate it. Let's talk about news, Jack Casey. Enough about you.
Yeah. Let's get into, unlike this fictional world where there's, blood drinking monsters, let's talk about, the real stuff, like the queen dying.
Hey, no spoilers. No, we have, before we get to any of the sad stuff, we got to talk about the really, really good news. And of course, you might appreciate this one as a storyteller who does controversial things and stuff. And there's this new Little Mermaid story that's going around, and the good news about it is that, of course, she's black. That's for you, Disney.
Stunning.
That's for you.
Stunning and black.
I know that you wanted that very much. Yeah. So we don't have to spend much time on this. I'm bringing it up because Twitter is
let's.
Okay, fine. Twitter is all abuzz about this bullshit nonsense. And there's a lot to break down. So the new trailer came out, and this shouldn't be a surprise. They announced that she was going to be black a long time ago. It was like a year ago, I think. And who gives a shit? Frankly, I mean, there's a part of me that can understand why people are like, hey, these characters, all the other Disney princesses that were made into live action remakes all look like the character in the thing. And I'm pretty sure the Little Mermaid comes from like Norse mythology. So it's kind of odd for a Norse mythology creature to be of African-American heritage. It's a little strange, but whatever. The issue here, in my opinion, is that this movie is too dark. Not her, the movie itself. Now, the trailer came out, and the visuals for it, legitimately, like most of the complaints that I've seen about this are not because she's black. They might say like she's not the right person to fill this role. In Disney and Hollywood being all about representation and everybody, whatever. This whole thing is just Disney scoring points, Disney trying to get points, and then Disney Disney is creatively bankrupt. Like, it's so obvious that they have not a story that they can shit out to tell outside of the things that they've already made billions of dollars off of. And now that they're creatively bankrupt, they're like, we're making these live action movies and nobody cares about them. Nobody likes them for the most part. There's been like one or two that have done well and the rest have been panned. But now they can blame racism for their shitty movie. But yeah, we'll talk about that more. This trailer, like, just looking at it, it doesn't look like water. There's not bubbles. There's not like, Aquaman graphics or anything that we have in today's day and age to make this look like you're actually underwater. It's just like dark, drab, like colorless. And that's been some of the complaints about not just this, but other Disney remakes and everything. It's that they try going the DC route and making it look all dark and edgy for some reason, because that's what the demographic for The Little Mermaid always was. But, yeah, of course, people came out and they're mad because their movie, people don't like it. And now Ariel is black and she's swimming in white tears. Jack, do you have any thoughts so far on this very important story?
Yes. In fact, I'm hearing, the concerns. I think, to show, if anything, here's what white people should do, actually, to show support and solidarity.
Kill themselves.
If people are so bothered by, people are bothered by, to show support for characters who are white being turned black. I think what we as white people should do to show that support is maybe make ourselves turn black, and maybe we could do that with, we could put like paint on or something, and we could sort of,
I don't like where this is going.
we can make ourselves look black to show support for the character being turned from white to black. That we support that. Do you think that would be a bad idea?
I'm gonna have to think about that one. I'm not entirely sold on the idea. Now, when it was first announced, and when it was first announced that Ariel was going to be black, my first thought wasn't like, oh, this character shouldn't be black. It was, if you're going to race swap one of the Disney princesses, maybe don't do the one who has to swim for the whole fucking movie. But, just saying. I mean, you can fill in the blanks however you want. I don't know. Anyway, so do you remember that old Cinderella remake that had the singer Brandy play Cinderella and she was black and nobody gave a shit that she was black at the time? Like back in the 90s when things were more racially segregated than ever, I'm pretty sure is what we're told.
Apparently, yeah. Yeah, I know, you're right. It's like lately there's something about the agenda.
Yeah.
And the message that is it's just ruining things, and it's so annoying. And listen, if you hate the way they are pushing stuff and race swapping and shoving this stuff and trying to make things about that instead of just writing good characters and having characters that either are or are not white or black and just let them be them.
Yeah.
Then I think this stuff I'm trying to do and others I hope will help change that we don't have to make race so gay.
Yes.
To
we don't have to make gayness as gay as Hollywood's
different.
making it either.
Right. We don't need to make being gay so gay. Yeah. I mean, guys, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fake super chat from Joey Two Guns, and he says, "Is the bathwater for sale? If you subscribe to the Downers Club at the $150 level, we will talk." And that is the extent of that guarantee.
That's right.
I don't trust you.
9/11 bathwater.
I don't trust you, Internet. Yes, I will send you a cup of my bathwater that contains whatever happened while reading Jack Casey's book. Now, this new Little Mermaid controversy, the person who said the white tears thing was actually the actress Jodie Benson, who voiced the Little Mermaid in 1989. So even she's got to weigh in and be like, my Ariel is black, which is funny that you say that because you literally are the only person who has an Ariel other than this new chick. You're the only one, and she's white. Are we getting rid of the old one entirely? Are they going to go back and color correct the old Ariel into matching up with the new one? I don't know. It's all very stupid, but something that Tim Pool pointed out that I thought was interesting is if we're all about diversity and inclusion and everything, why is her hair red? Is it because you're trying to...
She's culturally appropriating redheads.
Right. Well,
I think that's what's going on.
Are you? Is it because you're trying to make her look more like the original character?
Yeah. Interesting choice.
So you put a black woman in there to play a white woman, give her typical traditional Ariel white woman hair. I mean, I guess it's got some braids or whatever. They blacked it up a little bit, but I mean, coloring her hair to make her look more like the character while changing the race of the character just seems a little bit, I don't know, by their definitions, racist.
Yeah, and black it up a little bit is actually how I instruct you on the covers too. That's actually the exact phrasing. That's right. That's funny that you said that.
That's actually the instruction that they gave for the color and saturation for the entire movie. They're just like, we're going full on dark here. It's not just Ariel, the whole thing. Just make it dark.
Yeah, well, it's funny because if they keep make her hair more red, at what point do they just make her digitally white again? And it's a black actress wearing white skin or white face, And
do they still get the brownie points if they make the exposure a little bit high there?
Is it? Yeah.
I don't know. I think really the main takeaway here is that Disney sucks. They suck at their jobs.
Yeah.
They can't do it anymore. They've got new blood coming in who are like, we're taking over and we're going to make this a brand new Disney with all sorts of wokeness. And it's like, you can put the wokeness in, you can put the politics in. I don't really care if you work it in an artistic way. Stop fucking making it's like the Christian art of politics. Like you're parking the message cart before the art horse. And I know that there's not necessarily a political overt agenda, at least we don't know yet in this movie, but like when they're getting into the woke identity politics shit, I don't know. I don't care if she's black. I care that this has happened so many times, and every single time they hide behind, well, you're a racist if you don't like our art. That is just a shitty remake of an old thing that you did like, and we're perfectly fine with the old one, but now that we made it shitty, you're a racist for not liking it. It's just so
they did it with Star Wars too. They did it with everything. It's like the shield. It's a melanin shield that they're hiding behind, and I think it's not as strong as they think, because it's bad writers excusing their bad writing and their unlikable characters and their dumb ideas by pretending it's about racism. And it's like, half these franchises or things that you took over, they were doing fine with that stuff. Okay, I mean, it's like Star Wars, for example. It's like, no, people.
I mean, it wasn't doing great. Skywalker. It wasn't doing anything for 20 years, but Star Wars wasn't.
But like, but yeah, like, look, people don't hate, okay, you're a Rey Skywalker character because, she's a woman. It's like, we had fucking Princess Leia. That was a badass rebel leader woman. Okay.
Right. We had a story arc and character development and overcame obstacles in her life. That's why you could relate to her.
Exactly. And so the irony being that they if they just examine the material they're inheriting for 1 second, they'd realize, no, good writers know how to do this, and it works. And you're not good at it. So which
it's pretty gay. It's pretty gay.
Yeah. So that's why I'm here. Look, unsubscribe from your Disney Plus. Please subscribe to WVW.
JackCaseyPlus.com.
Yeah, sprinkle some rose petals in, and just fight the system via bathwater, and a good dark comedic read of political satire.
Yes. Every single one of these articles is going to be a plug for WVW2.
Yes, yes, I refuse to stop. I will.
If you thought Black Mermaids were too dark, you should check out this guy's new book, WVW2. It's pretty dark, bro. It's got some dark.
So here you're like black and red, huh?
Anyway, Jack, have you heard about the? Speaking of queens, because that's going to be the segue for everything here, and I guess Ariel's kind of a queen. Jack Casey is also. Speaking of queens, have you heard about Biden's new White House monkeypox coordinator? Dmitry Daskalakis is his name?
No.
Yes. We have a White House.
I want you to try and say that name a few more times. What?
Dmitry Daskalakis.
Okay.
Now, okay, brace yourself. This is a picture of the new monkeypox coordinator for the White House. Now, I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you have gay fetish bondage lifestyle, whatever. But if you wanted to destigmatize a disease that you don't want people to be relating to gayness, was there nobody else? Was there nobody who doesn't have pictures like this floating around on the internet for the butt sex disease? It just this is on you at this point. Yeah, it's also his bondage is also a pentagram. I was wondering if you'd catch that. Nothing to see here. Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
They keep saying oh, it's just men who have sex with men. It's not even gay men. It's just men who have sex with men, which is a different thing. And this is not related to gayness at all. This is not a gay disease. And this is the guy that you chose to make people think that this is not. I mean, come on.
This has to be intentional, right? Like, they must be just like it's like everything we see now. It feels like I I have to admit, a clever scriptwriter who's intentionally parroting. Like, I'm half convinced that we have like a libertarian conspiracy infiltrator who's like writing the scripts
stuff?
For the
that's
plan.
For the after party,
like,
man.
Right, I was gonna say maybe maybe I am. Damn, maybe I am. Yeah, almost like how could you write anything more openly satirical of themselves than what they do? You know,
Nasty Pig Hero is his, I believe, dancer name at the gay bars. Nasty Pig
I thought
Hero.
That was John McCain's nickname. I thought that's what.
I thought it was Meghan McCain's nickname.
So it's right. Yeah. No, I thought. Oh, she inherits it then. Okay, that's
right.
what that was. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Again, I don't care about your lifestyle, dude. I like as. You don't have to be like a PR rep or anything to see. I don't know what your goal is. You knew that this would come out. It's like they intended for this type of thing. Like they knew that this was going to happen. They knew that people would immediately find these pictures of him, like I guess doing like gay strip shows and stuff like that. But they keep trying to destigmatize this thing and make it not about gayness. What is the end game here? Like I can only put on my conspiratorial hat in this one. No logical thinking person would be like, seems like the best option to destigmatize this thing, right? Get the bondage guy out there.
Right. You think if their goal,
the guy who clearly, obviously has monkeypox right now, we're going to get him out there to be the representative face for this.
It's the same way that they keep trying to tell us that space isn't fake and gay, but then, they're talking about how many gay spacemen they want to send to space now. And so, or space women.
Right.
And, send Little Mermaid, there's a connection there between Little Mermaid and space, I'm sure.
I think there's something there, yes. That
Little
Mermaid thing.
Both are underwater. And underwater pools. That's it. Yeah, that's how they film.
They were both definitely filmed underwater. And they pretend like they weren't. So,
that's it.
Yeah, nothing to see there with Mr.
I gotta write this down for the next book.
Yeah, when the Queen died, I'm sure you saw my tweet. It was like, this is Jack. It was like the meme of the kid like scribbling. It's like this Jack Casey realizing that his book comes out in 2 days and the Queen just died.
Yeah. No, it's seriously, honestly, like that's half of what took me so long to write the next one, because like I'd be building out plot lines and character jokes and all this stuff, and then just more funny, absurd shit would happen month by month, and I'd be like, God, I gotta work that in somehow.
That's how I feel like
here to put it there.
That's how I feel trying to do this show every week. I'm like, all right, here's what we're talking about. We've got a full lineup, and then it's like, oh God, Biden is speaking again. Now I got to work that in.
Yeah. Well, I know, and then with perfect timing, right? Like a week before I drop, WPW2 on 9/11 this holiday season. Biden gets up there with the red lighting and gets this on. I'm like, is this an ad for my book? What's going on? This is straight up. And once again, I've worked my books into the next article, as I said I would.
I like it.
I've done it again.
I like it. And speaking of queens, Brian Stelter is back in the news. Not on the news, but even worse, because sure, he was ousted from CNN, but now he gets a media fellowship at Harvard University. Like, very prestigious, very uppity position. Brian Stelter, this guy who just got fired because he's terrible at his job, is now just like the elitist circle jerk begins. Like that. I mean, that's kind of the entire point of this whole episode. Just like, oh, one of our own. We'll set you aside now because you're not working for our current narrative. We'll bring you back if Trump gets reelected in 2024. Until then, we'll pat you on the head, set you over here because you're not a part of our story right now, but we won't make you feel too bad because we might need you later if something comes up. It's just gross. Like, this dude has, from everything that I've seen in all of my watching of Brian Stelter, which has been admittedly not a ton, but I did some digging, and it doesn't get better than the bad clips. Like the bad clips that you see podcasters share, the rest is that. It's all that. That's all he has. I don't know. It's
cut down not because they have to grab the one moment. It's because it's like this would be hours long. We have to you got to cut something. We got to take the
posting full stream episodes of his show. Like, can you believe this guy? It's so bad. Like, his entire job was basically to be a fakertarian in real life, in real politics. Just like the guy who goes around saying everybody else is evil and nasty Trump supporters that are stupid, and they all need to, I don't know, be taken care of. So he was bad, and now he's being praised for it. Speaking of bad people being praised for their ways, a whole lot of people that were on Jeffrey Epstein's list, I'm sure, just had another elitist circle jerk at the Emmys last week, and some people... well, let's just read my brief recap in case you missed it. Here's what happened. In case you missed it, hashtag the Emmys. Here's a brief recap. It was an elitist circle jerk where the Hunger Games masters swooned over the Emperor's new clothes, gave themselves awards for playing pretend, and then likely went out for a good old Epstein reunion Coke and kid swap after. So, I mean, where's the lie? Where's the lie? I don't know.
Do you know what we need is... Oh, yeah.
Are you into any of these things? I know we're both into entertainment to some degree, and we're both artists to some degree. Do you get into the circle jerk backpacks?
No. If I wanted to, watch reptiles, I'd go to the zoo. I think, yeah, like you said with Disney stuff, part of the reason I am trying to be an entertainer and tell stories through these things is because I'm so done with mainstream entertainment in general. Yeah, the Hollywood elites, all of it. The more you know as a conspiracy theorist, as you learn about these people and what they're up to and all the things that have happened, you're like, yeah, I can't even in good conscience, like, I don't even, like, there's still stuff you still watch and participate mildly in, but I'm like, yeah, man, I kind of just want to tell my own stories or read other, indie creators and stuff and build our own countercultural entertainment network, just like the podcasting world. I feel like that's like that's the thing that's already winning as far as like alternative media for information. It's
right.
Like people
they almost overthrew our democracy on January 6th. Those podcasters did. That's what I hear.
That's right. That's right.
Somebody told me.
And it was reported to us by someone through Joe Jorgensen, and then that's how we learned that. And so that's a throwback joke. God, how long ago was that? Jesus.
It wasn't that long ago, sadly. It does feel like a long time ago, though.
That much happened since then? Yeah. Jesus. Yep. I know. Yeah, fuck these people. No, what we need is like Ricky Gervais to like hijack the monitor at one of these things, like V for Vendetta style, and do his own, like
every single time there's an award ceremony, Ricky Gervais just pops in like, "You're all pedophiles. Yeah. Good night."
It just hacks the stream and from a bunker somewhere. Yeah.
Right. Now you might be getting sick of the Emmys and the Oscars and the Tonys and the Grammys and all these things. We might be getting sick of it, but the rest of the entire world. They are too, because the Emmys viewership drops to a new low this year. About 5.9 million people tuned in to watch the ceremony, according to Nielsen. Now, this shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody, because maybe it's just me, but I never know that these things are happening until it's trending on Twitter the next day or that night or something. Like, I never have any clue that these are coming up or anything or being promoted until after they happen. And when I find out, I'm like, all right, like literally what I've told you so far in this story, that's all that there is to this story. A bunch of people who pretend to be other people for a living. I mean, not knocking actors in general, but pretending like these people are like the high class elites in society. I mean, they are, but pretending like they are something above us when literally their job is to play pretend and be somebody else, act like a human as best that they can, and then tell you what their political view is, and then fuck off and go, read another movie script. Like, these people don't have any real value other than entertaining you and manipulating you. That is it.
Yeah, and that's it too, right? It's the fact that they're tools for propaganda and like they're, it's one thing if they were just purely trying to fun, entertain, and were,
right.
Humble about it. But it's like, no, these are people in very fucked up circles. Maybe, I don't know if it's all of them. It seems like there's these outliers of people who clearly try to like maybe speak up. Some of them conveniently commit suicide later. But there's, it doesn't mean 100%, but just that, the people who run this thing and do this stuff, everything we see on TV, like every movie, every show, has someone's hand in it to push a certain agenda or message. There aren't like these organic, writers and movie producers through those channels that are just like, oh, we just want to have a fun movie. I think people underestimate how much, purposeful manipulation goes into a lot of these things.
Yeah.
As evidenced by the products we see. Like you can see the invisible hand of the state behind a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, you can see the CIA's calling cards all over the place. And like, if you look back in history, if you dig into, I don't know, if you used to be able to find these things on YouTube, but if you go down the evil, scary rabbit hole of conspiracy theories on like BitChute or Rumble or something like that, just dig a little. I mean, use discernment. I'm not saying they're all correct, but dig a little bit. You can find all sorts of symbolism, or at least alleged symbolism, throughout all of Hollywood, and it's not a new development, but it's gotten like more brazen and more flagrant, and then they've spun it into this fight about culture war, skin color and shit like that. I feel like that entire thing, and like not just in movies but in its entirety, is just like this gigantic, massive distraction to keep us from actually focusing on what matters. I also think the Queen dying is a major distraction too, but we'll get into that in a minute. I don't know. I used to dig into a lot of the Hollywood symbolism and stuff like that. Did you ever go down that hole?
Oh yes, I've been down many holes, and I hold on, let me rephrase that. I've definitely the potion regime, let's say, really escalated my conspiracy diet, because I was even writing conspiratorial stuff even in my other books, my 500 pagers, the fantasy novel series, and even that deals with conspiracies and all these things that were kind of like the prototype of where I'm at now. And so, but for a while, as I got into libertarian stuff and was like awakening on multiple levels, I was still very blue-pilled and kind of like still believing the official version of stories on TV, but then just applying libertarian principles to the solutions. I'd be like, oh, the news said this is happening. Well, the libertarian solution would be to do this.
Right.
And like the deeper you dive, and then with the post regime and everything else, and then me exploring all kinds of things like, space and all that other stuff, you realize, oh yeah, okay. It's much earlier on in this process that they're actively deceiving us. It's also why I finally turned on all the woke stuff and everything else, because I realized so much of this stuff we're told to care about or be offended by, it's not organic. People aren't legitimately offended by these things. These are like purposeful, state machine driven agendas that corporations take on. And as Dave Smith has pointed out, it's like, it's a distraction from the fact that for a hot minute there, this country is ready to like overthrow, like, corrupt bankers and, the government for being, it's like they're once you see the strategy and how they operate and how they turn us on each other, they do this, you realize, oh yeah, all this stuff is fake. No one really cares. They're manufacturing people to care about this stuff. They're trying to get people to care about, your intersectional, erection or whatever, but they're like, it's with malintent. And I think, I wish more. I don't wish. I'm expecting more libertarians who are paying attention to stuff to catch on to that like I did, because I dabbled in some of the little bit of vocatarian stuff. 2020 and before me was still very blue-pilled on a lot. Yeah. And then the post regime hit, and after the election, I did a lot of soul searching and thinking, and that's also part of what led to these books too. One more plug for you.
JackCaseyBooks.com.
And seriously, it's like, yes, JackCaseyBooks.com. Thank you. It's like in that awakening, and you see the horror and true scale of the monstrosities of what's going on. Now I'm just trying to help red pill other people too. and including libertarians, because I think a lot of them still are worried about, oh no, what will the media say? Oh no, what will people think of us? Oh no, this and that. And we saw them critiquing the base tweets from Libertarian Party New Hampshire and stuff, and I'm like, guys, this is what we need. They're not really offended. It's a game. It's a political weapon they're using, and you're falling for it. Who are willing to write and say things that are intentionally violate those censors, that's actually how we fight the system. It's seeing through that. And so, I think we need to get more weird, more raw, more offensive, one could say. Oh, shoot, your audio just cut out for me.
Oh, there we go. Hey.
Oh,
yeah.
There you are.
Also, it helps when I don't mute myself. No, I just said...
you censored yourself. How offensive was what you said?
Self-censoring. You'll never know. The CIA knows.
Pure...
The CIA doesn't have mute buttons, but...
Even they were like, oh, damn. Oh, don't let him say that. Oh.
He's going to regret that one.
He's going to regret that. Yeah.
Right. That looked bad. I don't even remember what I was saying. But yeah, just like these people that are showing sympathy for monsters, I don't want to get too deeply into it, but like the Meghan McCain thing with New Hampshire, we talked about it pretty extensively on some episode recently, but it's like with that, I understand if you're uncomfortable with it or if you think it's in bad taste or whatever, but you gotta look at the source material here that they're working with. Yeah. It's Meghan McCain. I wouldn't have posted the tweet. That's over the line for me. But I'm also not going to condemn somebody for making a joke about a monster. Okay.
Right. Exactly. And it's like, and these aren't just like innocent bystanders in this, feelings hurt game. It's like these are active participants and advocators for all of us, every single one of us who has ideas, being thrown into a prison without trial and tortured or killed or in solitary confinement.
Meghan McCain said that all the January 6th people should be thrown into Guantanamo Bay and treated like terrorists. That's what you think we need to be sympathizing and empathizing with? Come on.
Yeah. Someone threatening and who has the actual possible power and influence to accomplish this with us saying mean words to them is a fucking mercy. These people deserve far worse. These people deserve to have what they would do to us done to them. They're the ones who should be locked up. They're the ones who should be maybe a little scared of what would happen if there was a revolution and we actually did this thing. So they are the ones who absolutely deserve that and worse with the things they've excused done to millions of other people. Okay, so for us to
Minecraft.
Just
kidding.
Yeah,
just kidding.
Exactly.
In real life, fuck YouTube.
in WVW, we in the fictional world, we're talking about werewolves and vampires here. No, but seriously, like as far as just mean words, that's the least we can do. That's the bare minimum. Okay, yeah. If you're not at least willing to say mean things to awful people, I'm like, I get it. Maybe you're worried. We might lose some people. We might lose some libertarians. We might lose some people who are offended by that. That's okay. We need people who have the stomach for this, who aren't so offended. We need people we need to draw in the people, and I've met some of them, who were on the sidelines, not involved in the party, not involved in the movement, because of the squeamishness and the self-hatingness of our party and other stuff. And only when the takeover happened and they saw more base tweets and things going on, did they get energized to rejoin and actually do this. And so for every person we lose, we're going to gain people who are strong enough and ready enough to we're going to get, we need more Nazi fat.
No, wrong one. There we go. Oh, stop it. That's enough. Sorry.
Yes. So.
Yes, I agree with you. And because I agree with you so strongly, I'm at a loss. So let's take a break and run some ads. And this is Liberty Portraits, and we'll be back right after this. Have you guys heard of Matt Miller? He's not only the guy who paints those amazing portraits of all your favorite heroes in the Liberty movement and in pop culture, but he's also now an official sponsor of this show. From Murray Rothbard to Ron Paul, Dr. Robert Malone to Darth Maul, Matt Miller's Liberty Portraits has something fun for everyone to spice up your home or office and showcase your heroes. Go check out his incredible work at libertyportraits.com. Grab a print to impress your friends, hire him for a custom portrait, or bring him out to a festival to capture your event in real life in a beautiful and unique way. To find out more, just head over to libertyportraits.com. Once again, that is libertyportraits.com. Today's episode is sponsored by Astero's Cybersecurity Services. These days, organizations of all sizes are targets for cyber criminals, disgruntled employees, or even nation-state attackers. Astero's performs cybersecurity services providing expert guidance to help organizations defend against threats and protect their data. Astero specializes in penetration testing, where they perform ethical hacking on networks, web apps, or organs as a whole to simulate what an attacker would do and plug the discovered holes before anyone malicious finds phishing simulations. thru.com/free. Come on. What's happening? Can you, there we go. I don't know what happened.
You sound good here, yeah.
Okay. I don't know what happened. I lost all my audio during that. Could you hear the ad? Could anybody hear the ad?
The first half, for sure.
Asteros.com.
And then
go get your your holes plugged and your ass covered from cyber security issues at asteros.com. All right, we gave them their shout.
That was even better than, there you go.
That's right. New slogan for you guys. That one's on me. Anyway, now we have to talk about the very important things in life, which everybody in America should be concerned about. This one. The big news. Speaking of queens, the queen died. Now, God rest her withered soul. Queen Elizabeth has passed at the young age of, 93? 90-something years old. I'm pretty sure she was actually born an old lady, and because I've scarcely seen a picture of her where she doesn't look the same age, and that age being very, very old, for my entire life. And I understand that drinking the blood of children is supposed to give you a youthful glow, but maybe you should have started the procedure before you were a very old woman, because it seems to have preserved you as a very, very old woman for a very long time. Jack, how closely did you follow the royal family and all of the importance that they hold in civilization?
As someone who, also wrote about princes and royalty, I didn't give a shit about them and following them. Yeah.
That's very fair. It's very fair.
But, it is sad when Elizabeth, or Liz as I like to call her.
Lizzie.
Lizzie. Yeah, Lizzie.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad when a Liz.
I call her Queen Lizard
passes.
Breath.
And like I said, we have to show support for our friends overseas, and I think we do that by encouraging them to, I think because if they're so sad she's gone, maybe no one could possibly replace her, and they should just tell all the other royals that that'll be the last one.
Season finale of The Crown. We're done here, folks.
Yeah, because how could you top that, right? Yeah, how could you top that? So why don't you give back all your, seized property and lands and things,
and children,
at least the bones,
right? The remains,
just
whatever you have left, coming back to the parents.
Whatever, exactly, yeah. And then we can, we'll just peacefully dissolve this thing.
This whole very not failed idea of a monarchy.
Yeah, and then you can adopt a system, so much less monstrous like ours, where we get to vote for which,
for who we kill.
For who gets to eat our children and stuff, and,
Right.
and whatever else they're doing there. So yeah, at least we should be able to choose who that is,
Right.
ruling over you.
Now, as sad as this clearly makes the two of us, there were some people around the world who were even more sad, seemingly. And first, we go to our brothers in Ireland. They had this.
Lizzie's in a box.
They're like having a fucking parade.
Oh.
This is like more enthusiasm than they probably had for COVID lockdowns being over.
I can feel my Irish ancestors cheering from their graves with them. The ghosts of my,
This is my new ringtone.
Yeah. Listen, I've got, I've got Irish in me. Hating redcoats is in my blood, so I think that's explains a lot.
Yep.
Honestly, also the drinking, but mainly the.
Yes. Now, for the audio listeners, if you couldn't make that out, they were all chanting happily and gleefully. The day that Queen Elizabeth died, they were chanting at a sports game, "Lizzie's in a box. Lizzie's in a box." And I mean, I don't know what the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire posted, but I bet it's not as based as all of Ireland throwing a party because she's dead.
We need those guys to help run some of our Twitter accounts. That's we got to get the.
Yeah, and it was a beautiful moment.
Angry Irishmen to come help us out.
It was a beautiful moment where we had I don't know, all the people who are show sympathy for the devil are like, hey, you guys need to not be celebrating. Only leftists. They're the only ones. Even Tim Pool's like, all these leftists are making fun of the Queen dying, and that's just distasteful. It's like, well, we did get some beautiful things out of it, other than the Queen dying. The Black Twitter and Irish Twitter really had a moment there for at least a day where they got along real well.
Solidarity there.
Just like party time on the Black Irish Twitter crossover episode. It was beautiful.
That's beautiful. Yes. See, yeah. Listen, for people who've read my books too, by the stories,
JackCaseyBooks.com.
Yeah, JackCaseyBooks.com. It's clear that I believe in redemption. I have some Christian-y beliefs, or Pseudo-Christian, sometimes I call it. And it's and
is that like the woke reboot of Christianity?
Yeah, except less gay.
Jesus is a trans woman.
Yeah, listen. God, that would be so funny. They're all happy because God's a trans woman, and then she's like, "But my pronoun is he," so you're gonna have to accept. No. Anybody who reads this stuff knows that I do believe in forgiveness and redemption.
His pronouns are I am.
And yeah, exactly. I am who I am is still the most based introduction of any deity. It's
right.
Like, who are you? I am who I am.
You know, motherfucker.
And whether
you know
or
what
not
this
you
is.
subscribe to other stuff, yeah, just I need to put that as my bio. Just I am who I am. You have to deal with it now.
Yes.
Yeah. No. It's people will see two themes in my books of various books. One is the idea that yes, loving your enemies, redeeming, healing broken souls. The other theme is being willing to slay or burn evil. And I think there's ways that those two ideas really align together. And I think in order to find healing and redemption, you do have to destroy and fight the monster and demon that's either inside you or in others. And so it doesn't serve the purpose of being kind to your enemies to pretend they're not doing evil things or to not call out what they're doing. I mean, if people are, I think part of what makes, the idea of the based redeemer so based is the idea of like being willing to call people, vipers and hypocrites and things that would be very offensive, but it's out of love for them. It's like, you're being a monster. You either need to stop and start begging for forgiveness. Yeah. Return the bones of the children, or you're going to, it's going to hurt. You're going to hurt. And then maybe then after you've been singed a bit, you might have some rethinking, and your soul may in fact be saved. I think there's a power to that. So for those who are, I think they're mistaking being nice for that. And I want to tell people, no, you can love people and believe in the redemption of humanity and still, call people monsters to their face.
Right. Niceness isn't always correct. And sometimes you just got to be correct about things, even when they're not nice. Now, back to the Queen. Yeah. Like the title of this is, this episode is, what is it? Hell Got a Queen or something like that. Or Hell Gets a Queen. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if I believe in hell personally. So I'm not going to get into all the I don't know, whatever, the salvation message of the Queen or whatever. But, I do hope that she had some sort of redemption arc in there or whatever. I hope that there isn't a hell personally. And I hope that if there is one, I still hope that she's not, that. But I can't stop it either, because we're going to get into some of the reasons why she might be there if it exists. But before we do, I want to talk a bit about the role of the monarchy. And this comes from royal.uk, because, I mean, I've cared so little about the royal family. I don't even know how this stuff works. How do you guys have democracy set up in 2020 basically, and you have a what is prime minister, and you also have a royal family and a queen? And so I had my suspicions, and I've heard the very brief synopsis of what the role of the queen is, but it's even from their own words, it's just really sad that this is revered in any way whatsoever. So, again, this is from royal.uk. So, it's legit. It's their description of their own importance. Monarchy is the oldest form of government in the United Kingdom. In a monarchy, a king or queen is head of state. The British monarchy is known as a constitutional monarchy. That means that while the sovereign is head of the state, the ability to make and pass legislation resides with an elected parliament, which means, to paraphrase that, she doesn't have any power. She's just there. Reading on. Although the sovereign no longer has a political or executive role, meaning nothing, no authority, nothing, just pomp and circumstance, he or she continues to play an important part of the life of the nation, whatever that means. As head of the state, the monarch undertakes constitutional and representational duties which have developed over 1,000 years of history. Developed over 1,000 years of history. In addition to these state duties, the monarch has a less formal role as head of the nation. The sovereign acts as a focus for national identity, unity, and pride, and gives a sense of stability and continuity, officially recognizes success and excellence, and supports the ideal of voluntary service. In all these roles, the sovereign is supported by members of their family. Now, that was a very long way of saying that this, as Dave Smith put it, this is elitist welfare. This is just keep them there because it looks good, because it makes us look more official. It makes it their description is basically saying she is just a face to make us seem more important as a nation. She is the only thing that makes this a monarchy, is just that we have a queen and she has no power. It's all just for show. It is the keeping up with the Kardashians, but even more overpaid, and for no reason at all. Jack, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, keeping up with the Komodos. I like it. That could be how they...
Yes.
I can't stop. Yes. No. Yeah. Forgiveness is for humans. So yeah. By the way. Yeah. No, it is. It is like a welfare recipient. Imagine if that's if that's how, maybe that's how we should get our free state, or our independence from the system, is just write an eloquent explanation of why we're actually monarchs. We're all actually kings and queens who, have a what is it called? The divine right of kings and stuff to, receive, our own territory and kingdom and stuff. Yeah. I think if we phrase it like that, it's like we have a rich, long history of not being a part of your system because
right.
We're just based liberty kings. What can we say?
Yeah, and I mean, even from a national standpoint, like, why does the United States praise these people and prop them up when we not only do we know that they're fake currently, but before they were fake, they weren't fake. And they were tyrants, and our entire nation was founded on getting the fuck away from these people. And now we're like, the queen died. She was nothing. She was absolutely nothing except a monster in the past.
Listen, if the founding fathers were even real, they would be embarrassed by all of you. They'd be like, are you kidding me? Do you know what we like? The only reason we didn't shoot King George was because, he was so far away and we just wanted them off our back over here. Like, we can't sail, you're not going to sail over.
We didn't have weapons of mass destruction yet. Otherwise, we would have taken care of them.
Right. Yeah. If we could fire a musket across the ocean, we would have. We couldn't. We just had to shoot his bastards in red. And, until they finally gave up and cried and went home. So, so it's, it's embarrassing.
It is, and that's just the surface level embarrassment. The more in-depth embarrassment goes deep. And again, I'm going to keep teasing this, like JackCaseyBooks.com. I'm going to keep teasing this. Before we get to the things, let's talk about what PolitiFact said about the things. Because, I've dug into some royal family stuff like way in the past and some of the conspiracy theories and things around them, but it's been a long time. I needed a refresher course, so I went to PolitiFact so that they could tell me what not to think, so that I could be like, oh, people think that, all right, now I know what to go research. Like that. That's literally how I used this article. I was just like, I looked up like Queen Elizabeth conspiracy theories or something. Of course, this was one of the first things that pops up. And like, these are the things that you're not allowed to think. And I'm like, all right, now we know where to start digging again. Cool. Thanks for the refresher.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's like, I love that there's propaganda. It's so self-defeating.
Right.
And it's like, what's the phrase, right? Like first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. It's like, we're at they're laughing at us stage because they try to ignore us, but we just
they're kind of fighting
out
us
of every comment
by kicking us off. Everything.
That's true.
That's
true. They are,
and calling us terrorists is a bit of a fighting tactic, I'd say.
Right. And it's like they're trying to maintain like, haha, these silly crazy losers that are fringe, haha, but also they're a serious threat and we need to stop them. And it's like, you can't really have both. At some point, you're admitting that anyone who censors reveals what they're afraid of, and it's telling, and it helps wake up normies, because then they're like, oh, what, a conspiracy? What's that about? And they go look, and they're like, oh my god, that's not a real skin. And so, look at this. Look at her. Look at how. I'm just saying, if that wasn't a human being and they were wearing. Look, that's all I'm going to say. But look, just that's all I got to say.
Okay.
Just think about it. Just think.
You're not wrong. So, PolitiFact says these are the lies that you're not allowed to look at. Queen Elizabeth II died or did not die before September 8th. That was apparently a thing. People were saying that she died early. So this says, we fact-checked Facebook posts. Like, it just makes me chuckle when somebody starts with, we fact-checked. I'm like, oh, fuck off. We fact-checked Facebook posts sharing a viral QAnon claim that the Queen had died a while ago. Quote, a while ago. Long before September 8th, the theory held that her death was a part of a dark conspiracy involving pedophilia or child trafficking. I just love that they throw that in there. They didn't have to put that in there, but I appreciate that they did. Yeah, keep going. What else is involved in this very not true theory? Tell us more, please. Elizabeth was photographed on September 6th at Baltimore Castle in Scotland as she formally appointed Liz Truss to be the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. The Queen died at the castle 2 days later. Blah blah blah. Though unsupported conspiracy theories prompted by adherents of QAnon have shared the unfounded claim that she is linked to pedophilia. the claim has no basis in reality because our fact checkers couldn't possibly find anything on that, I'm sure. Maybe they should hire me because we'll get into it. But the prince was not sacrificed in 2021 for the Queen's birth. No, Prince, the artist, was not sacrificed in 20. Like, I had never heard this before. This had never even came to mind. I had no idea that he died on the Queen's birthday until they told me he definitely was not sacrificed for the Queen's birthday in 2021.
That's probably what happened. Yeah. I mean, why the fuck not at this point? Like, holy shit. These people are psycho.
Right.
Oh.
So this one,
when people try to tell me, when people try to tell me like, oh, like even libertarians who they're like, they see some conspiracies, but they won't consider others. And they're still kind of like trying to maintain some level of normie world interpretation with their libertarianism. And they can be based in very other areas. But when they tell me, well, they couldn't possibly pull this off, they're not that smart because of their government or their whatever. I'm like, but this is proof that you're right. They can be really dumb because like this is them trying really hard to sound convincing, and it's laughable. It's like they're really bad at this. Like if one of our guys was in there giving him advice, we'd be like, no, you shut the fuck up. Here's what you do to distract from this. Like we'd be like way better at this than them. Okay.
Right.
Like this is why we need our counterprop again. Like we think we can outsmart them. We really can, because they're really bad at this. Look at this. They're just drawing attention to their own.
They keep shining a light on the things that they tell us not to look at. Maybe that's Q.
Yeah.
Maybe Q works for PolitiFact. I don't know.
I was going to say, well, the QAnon thing, I think that's their way to try and it's their scapegoat. They're trying to use that to be their catch-all for the conspiracy thing.
It's like the term conspiracy theory doesn't have as much weight as it used to as far as making people feel bad about themselves. So now we can get more specific, and everything that's conspiracy theory is QAnon.
Yes.
Yay.
Right. They're like, oh, those are the racist guys. Those are the ones who would, have Ariel wear, blackface or something.
Right.
That's probably what, they would do.
So on the topic of Prince definitely not being sacrificed on the Queen's birthday, it says that's widely false. Prince died from an accidental drug overdose. Health officials in Minnesota, where he died, ruled that he had unknowingly taken a counterfeit Vicodin that was laced with fentanyl. Elizabeth was in a different country making public appearances, and we weren't saying that she strangled him with her bare hands. It doesn't really matter where she was.
Right. Do they think that when we say she had someone killed, that she's fucking like full reptile form, like on the bed, like biting into the neck and like laughing maniacally? Like,
I mean, if you told me that happened, I wouldn't be that surprised about that either.
Yeah.
But
we're not ruling that out. We're just saying what we mean is she hired a different lizard to do the job. That's probably how it works.
That's right.
Probably not even a lizard, though, honestly. There's enough human beings who will do monstrous things.
Right. There's a hierarchy, and you don't want to sacrifice the good ones.
They send the lesser monsters to do their bidding.
That's right. Yeah. I have no idea if there's anything suspicious around Prince's death outside of him dying on her birthday that would lead somebody to come to that conclusion. I don't know. There might be. I don't know or care that much. If you have the information, though, Dan at tsidpod.com. Or you can get Jack Casey's new book at jackcaseybooks.com. So, Queen Elizabeth did not die from the COVID-19 vaccine, which I didn't know that she just got the COVID-19 vaccine shortly before. I didn't know that she had just gotten COVID right before she died and all that stuff. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, take your pick. You could chalk this up to COVID. I don't think they've even really said, other than she was 1.5 million years old, that she died, what she died from. But you could chalk this up to COVID. You could chalk it up to vaccines. You could chalk it up to, I don't know, she ran out of children's blood, or you could chalk it up to like, she did literally have information that could lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton. Just saying. Just putting that out there.
That's true. Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she didn't die from the COVID-19 vaccine. That's the most important thing here.
Maybe that's how we win, is it'll be like a circular firing squad of the elites taking each other out, because they're all worried the other one's going to rat them out. So they'll just keep killing each other, and we can just watch. We can just, make a bowl of popcorn or, make a bubble bath or something. Yeah. I'm
down. I would enjoy that bubble bath even more than reading your book. But she was She was also not shot and killed.
Don't lie to my face, Dan.
She was also not shot and killed in Detroit. I mean, your book is good, but watching the elites in a circle jerk of a firing squad circle jerk is, just come on. Now there's this ridiculous claim apparently from Rap TV, some hip hop news outlet, that they put up like an image of her and it just says Queen Elizabeth shot dead in Detroit and it has Rap TV on it. And they're like, no, this isn't true. She didn't die in Detroit. One thing that I love about the elites is that they don't understand jokes because robots and lizard people do not understand how this works.
Then again, you could kick it out like, okay, so she's like personally wringing her claws around Prince's neck, then escapes, gets shot in Detroit. You could build a story here out of this.
WVW3, tune in, folks.
Yeah, let's go. Hold on, I'm gonna get my notepad.
She was definitely not shot and killed in Detroit after strangling Prince with her bare hands. But most importantly, possibly of all, she is not a lizard. Now this is
the fact that we've made them have to say it.
Yes. I mean, David Icke has been talking about this since like the 80s or some shit. Like he's been on this thing forever. Yeah. And we can get into it however much we need to. I do have a lot more here to cover, but the David Icke thing, I haven't dug that much into it. I'm like, anytime I've seen like the lizard videos and stuff on YouTube where their eyes shift or something, it always looks to me like a camera like aberration or something. It's never quite compelling enough, and I'm certainly open to it. I'm open-minded enough to accept it if I was seeing compelling enough evidence. Jack, have you seen enough compelling evidence to convince you that there might be something more than PSYOP to David Icke's theory of lizard people? I don't think it actually originated from him, but he was the big one.
If I did, would I be allowed to tell you? No, listen, I'm with you. It's like because there's other stuff that is way easier to prove and show people, like the fact that space is fake and the Earth is flat.
Right.
But there's stuff that is like, it's hard to find the hard evidence other than just this it's thing that's both funny because it seems absurd, but then there's also just weird things that could make it true. And it's one of those things where it's true in a way, regardless, like whether these people are literally reptiles or if they're just so monstrous and inhuman, they may as well be, right, with the blood on their hands and things. So I think that's why the monster metaphors work, because a human being can be a monster, and whether or not you have the scaly skin is sort of secondary to what's inside, if that makes sense. And so it's in that sense it's true regardless. That said, listen, there's a lot of underground weird shit going on, tunnels and bunkers. I don't know. There could well be literal reptile people who've been waiting to resurface. We don't know.
Don't know. And the people who say that this is absolutely absurd and nonsensical, which I'm not necessarily not one of those people, because for the most part, I think that this might be a bridge too far. I kind of lean toward the David Icke thing being kind of a psyop that's discrediting. And again, I haven't dug into it that much. Yeah. But it's one of those things where it's like, oh, like if you say lizard people, they're like, oh, you're just a crazy conspiracy theorist, because it is probably a bridge too far in reality. She's probably just an evil human, and that's bad enough. And we're kind of drawing the attention away from the awfulness that is her as a human being. Like, we're giving her more credit than she deserves. Like, if she is a lizard person, she's been awfully nice. Like, she's done some bad things, but a lizard person would have been much more monstrous than that, I'm pretty sure. We need to I've said this before on the show, like, we need to humanize politicians. We need to humanize these people. Like, we need to stop dehumanizing them, humanize them. Because once you humanize them, people need to look at it and think from the perspective of a human. How does a human come to this monstrous conclusion? Like, if she is like a different species or whatever, that's kind of an out. Animals will be animals. Like, if you go down that road.
Right.
This is a human making evil decisions in her life that destroyed countless lives that we're not allowed to talk about.
Yeah, that's the theme of my stories too, that it's human beings who have potential for being monsters, and that the monsters in my story are all human beings who at some point decide to start drinking human blood, and that's how they gain their powers. And exactly, it's like the line between human and monster is very thin, and therefore you're right. It's almost like you don't want to excuse to be able to blame and say, well, this person never had a chance to be human. It's more like, yeah. That said, if there are literal monsters, then that would be good to know.
Right.
That we're amongst non-human entities.
Right. Yeah. And what I started to say, and I got off on my own diatribe, but the people who are like, this is absolutely absurd and stupid, and you're stupid for thinking it, they seem to be typically pretty okay with finding out that there's lizard-like things from other planets that are gonna come here and take over things. Like aliens are perfectly normal to talk about now in society for the most part. Now, what if those aliens were already here? Like, you can go a million different ways with this. Like, that's a conspiracy theory that's socially acceptable, except if you think that they're already here. But yeah, it's like, what's the difference between that and lizard people? I don't know.
Right. Exactly. Like, why is the line drawn there? Right. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I tell you that there's interdimensional, stuff happening, and everyone's like, "Ooh, cool!" Right. And then I tell them, like,
ooh, science.
Hey, yeah, they might be faking space, dude. And they're like, "How dare you? How could you?" It's like, okay, well, you're willing to believe that they're hopping dimensions right now,
right?
Which could also be true,
right?
But doesn't that take a lot more, like, effort and technology and workings of the universe than me saying, "Hey, I think they have green screens and they're tricking you guys really easily with really bad CGI stuff."
Yes.
Like,
exactly.
Mine is something we could pull off.
Right. Now, all those things that we just discussed are crazy, outlandish conspiracy theories that are founded on nothing but lies. However, Prince Andrew was really good friends with Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know if this matters or not. I mean, lawsuits filed against him for rape and I believe trafficking and all these things of minors and stuff that were settled out of court for unknown large sums of money, hush-hush money, and then he was just walked off quietly, and everybody was fine with it because he had already, paid his debt to society by giving a lady a bunch of money to keep her mouth shut about being raped by him on Jeffrey Epstein's island that he went to multiple times, and also, even after it like, all these celebrities seem to have a story, or like, what's it called? I don't know. A story of like a reason why they were friends with Jeffrey Epstein before all the information came out about him being a pedophile back in the 90s. And then after that, they're like, well, like Prince Andrew's like, well, yeah, I stayed at his house, but it was just really convenient. And like, it was just on the way to my next stop.
Sleepover.
Right. Yeah. Just gonna crash on my way. Because islands out in the middle of the ocean are like totally on your way to the next thing, and there's not anything else possibly more convenient than staying at Pedophile Mansion. I don't know. Like, if anybody's been there, did you look around? Did you notice anything out of the ordinary? Like, giving you full benefit of the doubt, which I do not in real life give you full benefit of the doubt here, but taking you at your word, you didn't see anything that was off? Or you didn't think maybe the guy who was charged with trafficking children might not be the best pit stop to make on your way back to the States?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was just a little Netflix and kill. That's all. Yeah.
Nice.
Hey. Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty. Well, wasn't there also too when Jeffrey Epstein killed himself with his own bare hands in that cell?
Maybe that was the Queen.
It didn't. Wasn't there like a photo of like Prince Andrew, them like he was like crying, but he looked happy, like
Probably.
or like there was something where they were at an event and the Queen was there and she looked all like I don't know, something, and then there's something where he looks like he just got really good news and he's like crying happy, and it's like there's memes of like her being like basically bailing him out of trouble or whatever.
Yeah. Now they did kind of like, the royal family did like push him aside publicly and be like, we're not having any part in this, we're not funding your trial or whatever. Like the prince needs extra money. I feel like he could probably cover it on his own, so it's not that big of a gesture. I also like that Google images, when you type in Prince Andrew Epstein, within the first couple it gives you Donald Trump and Epstein. Like, I get it. And no, I don't like
They're
Donald
like,
Trump
no,
either.
him too, though. Him too. He
Yeah,
did
but
it too.
Donald Trump, yeah. All of them. Throw them all
It's not just
where they
our
belong.
guys.
Right. Even though our guys are a little bit more damning pictures, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, lock Donald Trump up for anything that you find on him too, but I don't know. I don't know. So, yeah, I know that this, hold on, let me switch this back, see what we got next here. Oh, just Prince Andrew's links to Jeffrey Epstein and stuff. They get into that a little bit here. And it's funny, like, his links to Jeffrey Epstein, we're not going to read this too deeply, but this came out back in 2019. And the thing that I really enjoy about this article is an article titled Prince Andrew's Links to Jeffrey Epstein is really, really long with a lot of different incidents and everything. Yeah, it's not just like they were acquaintances or they ran into each other at an elitist gala baby party or something. Like they were bros, it seems.
Is a baby party where they eat the babies or where they...
You can use your imagination. I think.
Yeah. Anyway, go on.
I mean, we might have met our quota for saying things that are going to definitely get us kicked off of YouTube today. But
I will shut the fuck up until the after party.
No, it's fine.
Go on.
I don't care.
Steer the ship.
If we're in it, we're already in it, and there's really we're past the point of no return. So let's talk about. I know that wasn't.
We're already pregnant. There's no going back. We can't abort this thing.
Now, you could say that Prince Andrew was just like the Hunter Biden of the family. In some ways he was. And, maybe the Queen had nothing to do with that. And then there's like Prince Charles, who's like writing letters and good friends with Jimmy Savile, who's a lesser known around here, a lesser known Epstein type who ran a children's show and, raped children and trafficked them. Yeah. And that all, of course, all the information. Were you not familiar with Jimmy Savile?
Not so much. I think these are like there are certain points where details I was like, I was like, ooh, okay, I'm gonna come at this later. It's a little too.
Yep.
So okay, that's
the Queen with Jimmy Savile, and he was like very famous in the UK as a children's guy, and they loved him. They all loved him, and then immediately after his death, they're like, yeah, now we can let all the information come out that he was this raging pedophile, and we swept it all under the rug. Yes.
While we're gathered here, we just want to mention,
right?
Yeah.
Now, none of this, obviously, I mean, we can talk about the Queen's family and all that, and it's not a great look for the Queen, but maybe she was just the victim here. Maybe she had nothing. Maybe she was completely unaware of her children, her husband, everybody in her family dealing with people who are very famous now for being pedophiles.
Well, it's true. It's possible that if there was a royal who decided they didn't want to be a part of this or wanted to be super based and redemptive, like we were talking about, those redemption arcs, that... it's true. Maybe they could have tried and maybe mysteriously died in a car crash or something. For all we know, that could happen hypothetically.
Right. Hypothetically, yeah.
Who knows?
You never know when princesses or queens or anybody is just gonna die in tunnels. Yeah. Hypothetically,
can happen to anyone. Yeah.
Right. Now, have you seen this picture yet?
Yeah.
So. We can say that none of this is directly tied to the Queen until you look at these new mysterious photos of her log cabin in, I believe, an undisclosed location currently. Just her normal hangout. Nothing to see here except she's not the only person who has visited this cabin. Here you see, the happy couple, Mr. Epstein and Mrs. Maxwell, hanging out at the Queen's cabin. Like, I don't know. Like,
now, listen. Look. Now, to be fair, log cabins are a lot like, Ariel's and the Little Mermaids. They tend to look really similar, and most of the time. So, this could just be an exact, perfect photo match coincidence.
It could be, or you could be a racist. Either way, it's not a great look for this picture. I don't know. Like, I've talked to a lot of people about this stuff, and I mean, it's all these aren't necessarily clear like examples of corruption necessarily. I mean, they should be, but it's like this isn't necessarily evidence of anything. Maybe this was her Airbnb that he just happened to stay at one time, and we have a picture. Like, the internet is a beautifully autistic place where people will find things that they had no idea existed like this and share it very quickly when something happens. But I don't know. How many ties to famous pedophiles does your family have to have before we can make that assumption of maybe you people are, not good people that should be praised and revered for your fake position as the royal family reality TV show? I mean, it's not like we started here by talking about how worthless and pointless their entire role is. But what if you found out that they were like, I don't know, trafficking children or doing things to children? There's stories about a whole lot more than that even. I don't remember the guy's name offhand, and I don't think I have it pulled up. But a story of a guy who was like in some of these like old early Canadian, I think, Catholic schools or something, where the Queen came to visit, and it's like, I think it was like orphan schools or something. The Queen comes to visit, and this guy, whose name I should remember, it's William something. Coombs? I think it's Coombs. Cumbes or something like that. Or I don't know. Something like that. Look into it. You'll find it. But he tells this story of, he was this kid at this whatever school for Catholic kids, and the Queen came to visit, and he didn't know who she was, and they were taken out on this picnic with the priest and the Queen, and he was like, I thought it was weird. I didn't really know who this person was until they told me. I recognized her, but I didn't really know who she was. And then we went on this picnic, and I thought it was odd that she made all the kids kiss her feet. And then when we came back, at least 6 or 7 of the kids didn't come back, and we never saw them again. And then William Coombs, I believe is his name, was assassinated not that long after sharing this information. But I'm not saying there's a link there. You can do math. You're smart. You're smart folks. You can put the yarn together and, come to whatever pentagram conclusion you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. By the way, that was a Ariels have been redheaded and usually look redheaded up until recently joke, in case that wasn't clear. I'm not realizing what kind of joke it sounded like. Took me a minute.
I was going with it either way.
I had to clarify.
Either way.
Yeah, listen, both could be funny, but one was meant as a redhead up until recently joke.
All redheads look alike. We all know this.
That they've been redheaded up over and over up until now. Yes. In the cabins. Yeah. But it's honestly funnier. Let's just leave it. You don't even have to just keep the correction. It's good.
I'm not taking anything out, Jack. You have to own every bit of this.
No, we're owning it.
Yes. Now with this guy who it's all just theory. It's all just hearsay. Whatever. I'm open-minded to being proven wrong on any of this stuff. But again, how many of these things do you have to hear from a country that we, as a nation, deemed evil enough that we're going to fight a war to get the fuck away from them? And now these stories are out. And when she passes, we're like, oh, that's so sad. No, I'd say we take a page out of the Irish Twitter and Black Twitter's book, and yay, Lizzie's in a box. We should be happy about it. So there's that.
Yeah. Look, we have every right to dance on the graves of monsters. Yeah. And, even if people don't want to believe certain individuals are monsters, literally or figuratively, it's these systems, these elitists, the aristocracies that quite literally have a lot of blood on their hands. And whether or not you believe that they have these secret occult parties where they do horrendous things, even just on its surface, the empires they oversee, the blood on their hands from warfare and all the things you're saying before, it's like whether or not the worst of conspiracies are true or not, we have every right to, make fun of these people for being monstrous, or at least overseeing monstrous things and not
Yeah, the people who are celebrating right now I'm sure the Irish Twitter and Black Twitter, they're not celebrating because a probable pedophile, whatever, supporter, hider, and probably partaker died. That's not why they're celebrating. They're celebrating for all the documented, declassified monstrosities of colonization and everything that happened. That is just history. So take your pick. Whatever you want to hate the gal for, stop pretending like she's good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when people cheer for, the demise of people in power, it's because there's a lot of dead people who aren't alive to cheer for that. So it's on behalf of a lot of dead folks that we tend to, give every right. Every right.
Right. Not everybody's cheering, though. Some people are sad enough about this, so sad that they're standing in a 5-mile line currently, as we speak, to view Queen Elizabeth's coffin. And it says, 5-mile queue to view Queen Elizabeth II's coffin will, quote, see horrible stories of suffering. Now, do you know what that means? They will see horrible stories of suffering as they wait in line. Like, do they have up flyers, posters? Yeah. Are they killing people in the street? What's happening?
Yeah, hold on a second. Are they gonna have like a collage of like all the dead people from the British Empire? Like, what is this supposed to be?
So this is actually because mourners may have to wait 30 hours to pay their respects, with stewards told to look out for people struggling. So they're predicting that people are going to be suffering and dying in this line because they have to wait for 30 hours to see a dead old bird's box. Like, not even herself. I don't know what the circumstances are where people are suffering and dying in 30 hours. I mean, that's kind of first world problems, in my opinion. Even if you didn't eat for 30 hours, you'd be fine. And also, why would you dedicate 30 hours of your life to standing in line and suffering to see a boxed old lady? It's so weird.
Yeah, It makes me wonder, like, are people really doing this? Because I want to believe it's like fake, like they're hiring fake mourners, like,
Crisis
North
mourners.
Korea or whatever, But then I'm also like, but there are people so like brainwashed to care about this and to feel this way that, like, maybe there are people who would put themselves through hell just to, it's their own virtue signal, I guess. Like, look how much I love, the monarch, and
which is
it's
I mean,
sad.
Standing in line for 30 hours.
Let them suffer.
I know there are people who would stand in line for. I hope they die in the streets.
I hope you suffer for being such a simp for evil.
I hope you bleed and die just the way Queen Elizabeth would have wanted it. Now, there's as I was doing some digging through the annals of Queen Elizabeth today, I found a video that I want to play before we wrap up here. Wait, we might have one or two other things. Yeah. Okay. So this video is from the Jubilee Party of 2002, the Queen's Golden Jubilee Party, which is a thing that they do. And that's all the explanation I'm going to give. And see how much this triggers Jack Casey. Are you all ready? Jack, you've had your trigger warning. Are you ready for this?
Okay, I'm bracing again. Okay, yeah.
See a group of 250 children from schools, community groups, the ethnic community of Slough, and they're going to give the finest performance of their lives.
Let me know if you see any symbolism along the way.
And what you can see there, in the middle of the square, is the orrery. So it's been specially created by a school children artist from Slough. It's a mechanical astronomical model. been created through workshops in local schools, and it's got a celestial theme inspired by Sir William Herschel, who was a notable historic figure in Slough.
Something is emerging from a giant
theme
egg
of the day, stars over Slough.
that is surrounded by lizards.
It celebrates, as I said, Sir William Herschel, who's the first astronomer
What is
in
it?
the 18th century to describe the form of our galaxy and the Milky
No
Way.
way.
And there you can see the
Way.
planets rising out of the egg. Children there have been waiting since 8 o'clock this morning in their t-shirts. All very nervous. I chatted to them earlier. Very excited.
You're talking about the kids being very excited while they show their very bored-looking faces. Because they've had to stay in there since 8 o'clock this morning to praise a monster.
They're like, I miss Saturday morning cartoons for this shit.
Right. I miss Jimmy Savile in the morning.
What's inside that aura ring has
Oh, there it is.
Kids, stop singing and run. Run, kids, run.
Run away. So,
What's coming out of there?
you recognize those balls?
Wait.
Them space
I'm
balls
trying to
right
get a
there.
better look. Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah,
Them some
okay, we
fake
got
gay
reptiles.
space balls. Yeah. So for the audio listener, the Queen is watching some kids. Probably at least half of them went home to their parents after this, and the other half we've never seen since.
Don't know where they are.
They're singing, and there's this giant egg-shaped monstrosity that opens up, and then they zoom in, and you see that it's surrounded by a dragon and like a red serpent.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
uprises all the planets and everything, which I didn't know if we'd make it. When I was first watching it, I was like, okay, so the lizards are obviously the main focus of this, but then I thought, it's Jack Casey's co-hosting, so we got to watch a little bit more of that and get that in there.
This is the fuel of my nightmares. Yeah, this is what I think they're leading towards. Listen, again, with like, they're like, but do you think lizard people? I'm like, look, I haven't seen one, but at least they seem to idolize and worship dragon snake. There's some
Right.
satanic-y thing going on.
Right.
And they do this a lot, and it's like they're the ones telling us. I'm not interjecting my own, lizard. It's like it's like they just keep telegraphing this is what they care about, and these are the symbols they like,
Right.
and they seem to worship this thing, and it's like, okay, yeah. And then with the space thing too, like you said, when we like reverse
overload.
it, right? You were saying. Yeah, you were like, well, people will believe UFOs from space, but they won't believe lizard people. And it's probably that, yeah, if there's lizard people here, they're probably going to pose as things from outer space. I
Right.
feel like that's exactly what they would do. And, that serves their ultimate deception, which is, hey, you live in a godless universe. We are your overlords, your benevolent overlords. Please bow to us because we are the highest power. We're the most intelligent species out there. We have all the cool technology. Look at that.
Right.
And yeah, I think it's going to dupe people. And we need to tell them now, no, there's more to this. There's higher powers than that. And you should not side with these guys.
Don't worship the lizards. That's all. That's all we're saying.
Don't do it.
It's a very simple command. Now, Jack Casey, do you know who Liz Truss is?
You had me at Liz. I don't know, but go ahead and
So
keep going.
Liz Truss is the current Prime Minister of the UK. She is
the
person in power, the actual person who wields power. We don't even know her name. Like, no. I can almost guarantee you, most people have never heard the name Liz Truss, the person who is actually has her finger on the war machine and stuff like that. Like the Queen distraction is a beautiful way to make people focus on, like, this is the power that is, but when it's convenient, we don't need to focus on the atrocities. That's the Prime Minister's fault. But the good things, like, I would hate to be the Prime Minister of this. Like, you would get no credit. Nobody even knows who Liz Truss is. But we know that the Queen and the now King does not really have authority to, I don't know, do war things necessarily. So let's go to Liz Truss and get her thoughts.
You'll be ushered into a room very privately at number 10. Will be laid out in front of you what are called the letters of last resort, your orders to our Trident boat captain on whether you, Prime Minister Liz Truss, is giving the order to unleash our nuclear weapons. It would mean global annihilation. I won't ask you, would you press the button? You will say yes. But faced with that task, I would feel physically sick. How does that thought make you feel?
Now, before we get to the answer, quick points here. He just said to her, if we need to use nuclear weapons, all of humanity will be wiped out.
Yeah.
Point number one. Point number two, when faced with that difficult decision, I'm not going to ask you if you would wipe out all of humanity. I know that you would.
Yeah.
Now, let's get to the real question here. For me, if I had to wipe out all of humanity, I would get a real tummy ache. Now, you, Liz Truss, would you get a tummy ache too? If you had to wipe out all, like, what? Like, just really glossed over that. I know you would, because you're a monster.
Of course you would, yeah.
Yes.
But would your tummy hurt the same? Yeah, it's like
so weird.
Would you at least maintain a shred of humanity as you push the button? Yes,
right.
That's the real question.
Yep, and her answer is just as brave.
Be sick. How does that thought make you feel?
I think it's an important duty of the Prime Minister. I'm ready to do that.
Yay!
Death to humanity.
I'll tell you what make you feel.
You want to know how it ends, guys? With thunderous applause. Literally.
Yeah.
Literally. Not democracy. I mean, humanity dies with thunderous applause. They were just told by their leader, I will kill you all if I need to, and I will do it without hesitation because
I'm almost there with them. I'm at the point where I'm like, fucking hell, man, just do it. Now, assuming nukes are real, big if.
Yep.
But yes, on their own premise that they could end the world with a button, it's like, yeah.
Yeah. Of course you would. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't wipe out humanity? You're a brave, strong, independent female. You wouldn't hesitate like a weak man.
Like, maybe that's the real goal, is to annoy us and make us suffer so much that we finally just are like, just end it. Just do it.
They're getting
like,
close.
We're all just ready.
They're getting close. We're like 2 Disney remakes away from me being like, fuck it all. Send the nukes down.
Yeah.
Bring it on, Liz. I'm here for you. Now, one more thing, because it's important to keep in mind as we talk about all these things that these aren't common knowledge. They aren't. The colonialism, they're very disappointed that they can't hide that one as well. It's not common knowledge, their relationship to a bunch of different pedophiles like Jimmy Savile and Jeffrey Epstein and stuff like that. They would prefer that you don't talk about it. Now, this show, The Crown, that's on Netflix, I believe it's Netflix, it's like a fake reenactment of the fake acting that is the royal family. And they have a new season, this was a while back. Season 4. I don't know what season they're on now. I think it's 5, but I've never watched it. Don't care. But the important thing here is that if you don't like history, if history starts to get inconvenient for you, you not only don't have to talk about it, you can literally rewrite it now, because The Crown Season 4 acts as Jimmy Savile appearance from Royal Variety Scene. And the reason... Now, this is an actual interaction, a meeting that took place in real life that they're recreating. They chose to leave Jimmy Savile out of it because it would be too insensitive to have him on the show. Too insensitive to show this monster, well-known pedophile. So we're going to, for the insensitive folks, we're going to take him out of it. Not because, it's not because we don't want to show that the Queen was happily interacting with a monster. No, it's because... It's pretty insensitive to show what happened. Like, it's just so stupid. They're acting like they're doing you a favor by not telling you that the Queen interacted with a monster. Like, this is how history is rewritten. It's all Hollywood. It's all staged, and they can rewrite it literally by just writing it however they want. And then we'll watch the TV show and think that that's what went down in reality, when it's not. It's even faker than the royal family in real life. So.
Yeah, it's a fake story about a fake story. Yeah, like we said earlier about the Hollywood stuff. They're not trying to entertain you guys. They're not just trying to show you that everything they do has a purpose. And in this case, it's either make you identify with or sympathize with these, elitists who should be openly mocked and shamed in the street. And then secondarily, to rewrite history and give you, how many people's perspective of world wars, of atrocities, the ones that have happened and even some that haven't, how much of that is fed by what you watch in movies and what's on TV and these so-called history documentaries? So much of what we think we know about the past or these other things comes from entertainment. When you see the entertainment is controlled by a select few group of people, it's kind of clear, like, okay, they're 1984ing this. They can tell you a version of the story, and then you get that in your head, and it gets reinforced by other things. And so your entire framework of what the world is and was and where we came from is based on their deceptions. Yeah. And it's like, it's up to everyone. How far do you want to go to peel that back? How far back do you want to go to see, how
just wait till you get to the history books. Wait till you get to the actual things that we were taught in school. And once
even
you realize,
the sciences, there's stuff that they always say, as we've seen with the potion regime the last few years, I like how you kind of censor yourself in that phrase, but all the rest of this has just been way worse than saying actually. Listen, I'm like the Titanic's sinking, and I'm like, guys, we can still dodge the iceberg. That was also blown up on purpose too. We can get into there. So we all know on here. Anyway, just that the science. We saw how much the science is a politically driven agenda half the time, to the discredit of actual science, and same with history and the rest. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm not saying that you have to believe that they're lizards, or I'm not even saying you have to believe that they're, the things that I just showed you. I'm saying look at the things, decide for yourself. I don't know what is. I don't know how much of this is conspiracy theorists blowing things out of proportion. If they are, I'm not for that either. I'm for truth. And if I'm proven otherwise, fine. Yeah. But just look at the things, guys. Just look at the things. There's so many of them. And we did it. That's a very small amount of this very long reign of power that this royal family has had. We barely even talked about colonization. There's the real world things are still terrible.
It's like you don't need to know who did 9/11 to see that it's an inside job and a controlled demolition. You don't
need to know who did 9/11 to know that 3 towers fell from 2 planes hitting them at the top, and they fell all.
We don't have all
down.
The answers, but we have enough to say, do you see how this is? Yeah.
It's fake. It's gay.
Yeah.
Speaking of fake and gay, Jack Casey, thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure having you. And tell people where they can find you and your new gay book.
Well, as I don't know if we've mentioned it yet, but jackcasey.books.com
nice.
Is the website. That said, you can just go straight to Amazon. Just get right up in Jeff Bezos's face, and you can type in WBW, and it'll pop up, the 2-book series so far. Or my other works, the Royal Green series. Just type in the Royal Green in Amazon, you'll find that too. So you can go to my books directly there, or the website. Buy them, read them, have fun. I hope WVW makes you laugh and get a little triggered, but then get over being triggered, and then laugh some more, and then
enough laughter to buy book 3 when it comes out, right?
Exactly. I'm trying to ride the line of being canceled and maybe even arrested, and also
give it time.
Just enough to also make it fun and weird and also inspiring, because I think that I want to entertain us, make us laugh through all this. We can feel very black-pilled and get depressed about it when we think about all this fucked up shit, but then also to like inspire the fuck out of us, because I know stories moved me at the right times in my life when I needed them. And I just want to do for others what was done for me, and to keep hope alive in the face of all this. And if we have to fight the darkness with tranny dick jokes and and bubble baths and all the rest, if that's what keeps the flame lit, let's do it.
Even if it doesn't, why not have fun on the way out? Right.
Yeah. Yeah. We got to poke fun of people's squeamishness. We got to fight all this touchy woke stuff. We got to be inappropriate and funny and offensive. And I think we'll find that we actually get along better when we're allowed to. You've always said this on your show. You've talked about how it's actually when people are allowed to make fun of things and push the envelope and poke fun at race and gender and all this stuff that like people actually find camaraderie.
It brings way more unity than Biden's speech.
Yes.
Exactly. I would say. Yeah. JackCaseyBooks.com, everyone. Go get it. So far, it's okay. That's my endorsement.
40%, 40% of you will not make it to the end.
That's right.
About 40% of you your book will not have killed itself. And then, the other 60% of you are going to make it, and it's going to be a great time.
That's right. Jack Casey's career did not kill itself. But Jack Casey, thank you for being here. And I'm going to jump over to just me now. You hang out for a second, and I'll be right with you. Now, all of you, thank you for being here for this very long episode. But there was so much to do, that so much to talk about, that we're not done yet. We're going to keep the party going into the after party, where, as I said at the beginning of the show, we're going to have an entire episode on a whole bunch of new bad things in the world. QAnon, I guess, is killing people now. QAnon's back in the news. We're going to talk about that. I don't know if it's safe to talk about here. We're going to talk about it there. Maybe we'll talk about it here later. We'll see how things unfold. But these are things that just happened like today and yesterday. So they're like breaking stories, and we're going to get very uncomfortable about them. So if you want that, go on over to patreon.com/thesystemIsDown and sign up for the Downers Club right now. And there should have been a link that went out about an hour ago. Hopefully it's still active. Because, we're going there. So this end title card, I am now remembering, is not the right card, but I'm going to play it anyway. And you're going to meet me over there in about 5 minutes while we talk about... Wait, hold on. While we talk about... What all do we have? Let's see. Let's pique your interest here. We've got QAnon's killing people, as I said. Trump is apparently playing golf in jail. The FBI took my pillow. Quiet quitting is racist, and so much more. So many fun, spicy things. So patreon.com/thesystemIsDown. Thanks for hanging out. We will see you guys on the other side. Until next time, the rest of you we will see tomorrow morning. Oh, tomorrow morning, 2 scoops. Craig and I went to a show last night. We saw Blue October, and it was amazing. And we've got a ridiculous story. The spoiler, or the sneak peek, we fought the law. The law won. You'll hear more about that tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock on 2 Scoops. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, question everything. Stay uncomfortable. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Welcome to the system. Everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here is how the system. Violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong. Dun, 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 dun.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe on your way out and help us change the world one uncomfortable conversation at a time. And if you like what you hear and you want to hear more, go join the Downers Club at patreon.com/thesystemsdown for bonus episodes of the show every single week. Until next time, please continue to question everything, stay uncomfortable, and I'll talk to you then. Thanks.
This has been a Goulash Media production. GoulashMedia.net.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.